Thank you for joining us again today. And today I'd like to welcome Deputy Chief Constable Sarah Crew. And so thank you very much, Sarah. I know it's very busy for you. Before we begin, I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of you who are changing your behaviours, changing your daily lives in staying at home. And it's tough, and it's really tough when the weather is nice and you've got your children at home, and some of you will live in houses and flats that don't have that access to the outside. So I fully acknowledge that what we're trying to do at the moment is trying to get you to change your behaviour in a way that can be really, really difficult for you. So let's never imagine what we're doing is easy. But let's just also remember why we're doing it. We're doing it to protect the NHS. We're doing it to protect ourselves. So that cross-contamination between different households is really, really key. So Sarah, is there anything that you'd like to add before we start?
Yeah, I'd like to kind of re-emphasise that point really about what this is really around. We receive lots of questions about guidance and rules and regulations and interpretation of those, but I think it's really important to go back to what this is about. As Sue said, it's about saving lives. It's seeing that number of deaths that are announced every day coming down and protecting the NHS to give great care to people. So I want people to take that away. What can you do as an individual to reduce the spread of this infection?
And you're right, because it's up to us as individuals. We can all make a difference, can't we?
Absolutely.
So I've got some specific questions. So how will the police work to protect the public to ensure that they are not socially or racially profiled under these new regulations?
Okay. Well, we do have, and we have some very robust and coercive powers in policing, stop and search being one of them, use of force. So we're not unused to being able to use our powers and use them in the right way. So the lessons we've learned from ensuring that the public have trust in our use of those powers, we're exploring and using with these new regulations and these new powers. So we do engage heavily with communities in explaining the powers and helping to work with communities so we don't actually have to use them. But we also have body-worn camera, so there's always transparency about use of our powers. For these new powers, every single use, because there are quite small use of fines actually, I think just over 60 since it started. A chief inspector reviews the body-worn camera footage of every single one. Now that's internal scrutiny that we apply to stop and search, it's applied here. And we've also brought in the experts in our external scrutiny panel to virtually help us as a group of external scrutineers, representatives of the public that work for you, Sue, to have a look at how we're using these powers. We're learning, but we want to make sure there's absolutely no disproportionate use. It's entirely appropriate and justified, and it's fair, and we want to be transparent and hold ourselves to account for doing that.
And that fairness is really important to people, isn't it?
Completely.
So, and I know I've discussed this before with the Chief Constable, but local people are still concerned about what essential travel means. So I know many local people actually really want to do the right thing, but we continue to get questions. So let's go first of all. Are local people able to travel to look after vulnerable people, such as friends or relatives, or would they be fined for doing this?
So I think the fundamental principle is everybody should stay at home unless it's essential for them to go out. And the new legislation gives them some guidance on what essential to go out is. And looking after vulnerable people is one of those things. I've got some vulnerable people in my family. It's essential for me to go and provide them food. But it's also really important that when we are doing the supporting of vulnerable people, they're vulnerable. So we have to apply all the other guidance that the government has given us about keeping people safe, 2 metres apart, etc.
Okay, and we've all been told that we need to work from home where possible, but there are obviously jobs where it's not possible. Gardeners, tradespeople. So are they still able to work, and what advice would you give them?
Again, we're learning, but you are absolutely right in to say that we should stay at home and work from home if we can, and there are some professions, gardening being one of them, or other tradespeople where it's not possible. So therefore, travel, which is essential to go to a place of work, is absolutely okay. But again, the guidance around social distancing must be applied in the workplace as well.
Okay, that's really clear. I'm sure that's cleared up a lot for many people. We've also had a few questions regarding custody units. So that they can be quite busy areas where you've got staff, solicitors and detainees. So what measures are you taking to ensure that those in custody remain safe?
Okay, so the custody environment is something we've been looking at really closely from the beginning. So there's really stringent guidance. So access to custody units has been really severely restricted and controlled. So the only people that need to be in the custody unit physically are in the custody unit, and we know where they are. Clearly, we risk assess every detainee at the point of arrest, but at the point of detention as well. If there are any indications of symptoms, then we have processes and procedures in place to make sure that detainee is isolated in a different wing from other detainees, and that our staff who are essential and who need physically to be in the custody environment have the right PPE for the right personal protective equipment for the job that they're doing.
And how do those people that are being detained, how do they have contacts with their solicitors?
That's really important, that people's rights under the Police and Criminal Evidence Act are in no way compromised. So our teams have been working from the beginning with the defence solicitor community to work through how we manage that. So working with the Crown Prosecution Service, the defence community and the courts, actually a number of things have been agreed that minimises actually the need for the solicitor to actually attend the police station. Clearly, we also provide conferencing facilities so that the detainee can have access to a solicitor, to interpreter, to appropriate adult as necessary.
Okay, thank you for that. It's really important that those vulnerable people get that support. So we are heading into a bank holiday weekend, although it won't feel like that for many of us. The weather's could be warmer. They're going to be people going to spend time with families and friends. So what measures are being put in place to encourage those to keep on social distancing?
Absolutely. We had a trial last weekend. It was a lovely weekend, and I'm pleased to say that communities in Avon and Somerset, in their masses, complied with largely the guidance that's there, but it can be tempting. So what we did last weekend is we were highly visible in our communities. We were also very visible on social media and through all our messaging, and so were our partner organisations as well, making it clear to people not just what the rules are, but as I said at the beginning, why it's important. So we've been doing that all week, and as we go into the weekend, our teams will be out there in our communities, visible, proactive, and what will they be doing? They will be engaging with people, they will be explaining what the guidance is and why it's there. They'll be encouraging people to do the right thing. And lastly, and as I say, in a tiny proportion of cases that are reported to us, we have the ability to use the new regulations to issue a fine. We don't want to do that because we think everybody in our communities wants to do the right thing. It's about protecting us. So I'd ask people as each individuals just to take responsibility and think of those deaths and the number that could be reduced.
Thank you. And these are very uncertain times, and we want to look back at this time and say that we did our very best. And we can't be complacent. Yes, we're coming into Easter, and it would be very easy to think, oh well, it won't matter if I just go out and socialise. But it really does matter, because otherwise we've wasted everything that we have worked really hard, and people have made so much effort, and I've been so impressed by what's been happening. So my team and yours will obviously, we work together. We will work with all our local authorities, with various organisations, and with health, because we are stronger, and we will get through this, but we need to work together. So please join me for the next Facebook Live, which is on the 16th of April at 2:30 with Chief Constable Andy Marsh. You can send me in questions via Twitter, Facebook, or emailing me on pcc@avonandsomerset.police.uk. So stay home, save lives, and let's get through this together. Thank you.